So here we are with the filmmaker commentary. It's kind of like a DVD commentary, but I love these as a filmmaker actor. Robert Rodriguez has some of the best commentaries out there. It's like a film school. So I was telling Donn, I was like, hey, why don't we do this for our short films? So with me is Donn Swaby, the actor, writer, producer.
Great. Thanks. I'm glad to be with you, brother.
We've known each other for a while. We have the same interests, Star Wars, guitars.
Rock and roll.
So we actually worked on a film back in 2007, The Wedding. After that, we did this one, Star Wars, and then we have another one, Indiana Jones. So it's almost like the trilogy of films between us. So talk a little bit about how you came up with the idea.
For Star Wars: The Mission?
Yes.
Well, basically, it came about when I had read about the making of, or rather, just before it came out, the Star Wars Episode 7, which, of course, was the Force Awakens. And when I was seeing that most of the original cast was there, with Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and even Anthony Daniels, and I was like, and Kenny Baker. I'm like, well, where's Billy D. Williams? Where's Lando? And it was great that there was a one young black character, which I thought was awesome. But at the same time, I was missing Lando, so that actually inspired me then to imagine, well, what if Lando had family as well? That was part of the rebellion, and that's what led me to then create the character of Leto Calrissian, who was Lando's nephew, who basically, who joins the rebellion and started off there.
Awesome. What was your thoughts when you first saw Lando in Empire?
Well, when I first saw Lando as a kid, and I guess I was like 7 at the time. I don't know if he in particular had an effect on me so much as, I was just at that point already a huge Star Wars fan, having seen, Star Wars when I was, 4. I don't remember having a memory of that, but definitely looking back, I was already in that sort of Star Wars fanatical, like, this is Star Wars. And it was overall, I remember seeing Empire Strikes Back in the theater. My first emotion was traitor. And so when I think back, I think that that's when he came alive for me, and probably maybe, I don't want to speak for other people, but in that sense. And of course, what's beautiful is that he, of course, redeems himself, and really proves himself to be Han Solo's friend and a friend to the rebellion. But my first emotional memory of that character was when he actually betrayed them.
That was a really powerful scene. That's probably like one of my all-time most scenes that stuck with me in like movie history. It's like between them getting busted and Han getting frozen.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. In case someone
right. For anybody who's been living under a rock for the last 40 years. There's.
So, okay, cool. Let's get into the film. So
let's do it.
So we shot this in one day for the main part, where between Donn and I, and then we went back and did some pickup scenes, like the opening. It required a lot of special effects, even though it doesn't really look like it, but it took a while to finally finish it. I think I released it the day Han Solo came out.
You're right.
May 25th, 2018. It's been getting really good responses. A lot of people have been saying, wow, this is the only fan film without a lightsaber fight.
Yes.
So, okay. So without further ado, let's get into it. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
So the blue fonts, I just love that. There's no music. It's totally silent, like in all the Star Wars films.
Yes, classic. Classic.
Yeah, and then I wanted to stick to the 70s and 80s versions, the original 4, 5, and 6. That's the vibe I wanted to get, not really trying to spin off into a new direction. Like Rogue One did not use the crawling credits and things like that.
No.
Neither did Han Solo, I believe. The other ones did.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of keep that as kind of an homage to
like this part of
our childhood.
Yeah, one of the episodes, like this could be considered, in the actual.
So I love this one's really short and sweet. It's like to the point for a short film.
Yeah.
And so Aaron Kusterer did the opening,
the classic
score.
Right.
He did the
Planet.
And so I went back and I was like, it felt like, of course we didn't have the budget to have huge sets and all that, but I was like, I wanted a little bit more dynamic opening, so that's where we went back and shot this opening sequence.
Yeah.
And And
Did a lot
actually,
of running.
one of my reporter friends is like, "Why are you having this poor guy run in every one of your films?"
Hey man, I got my exercise that morning though. I mean,
Yeah. And so right there, I had like a B wing go off, and then 2 X-wings fly by.
It's a great effect.
And actually, one thing I wanted to do was almost get like their POV. And so this podium thing that I'm working off is it's like a combination of I wanted to have a eyepiece, basically kind of mimicking the binoculars, but it just ended up being too much special effects, so I cut it. So I pretended like it was like built-in contacts.
like a Mr. Planner's Peanuts. Do you want to tell people what you're actually doing?
Yeah, so we're out in the rebel. It's like a rebel base that's like hidden. So just kind of like checking out like ships that are coming in and out. It's just like Star Wars is basically like an indie film production. Like the generals are doing the PA's work.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're here doing this little banter. So you want to talk a little bit about the dialogue?
Yeah, so basically, you're right, because I come in basically telling you that I suspect that we have somebody who's being treasonous to the rebellion and will betray, then General Leia, and I want to basically go on a rescue mission to rescue her. And you're like, no, that's not the smartest idea. And you're playing, of course, General Kenji Padua. And thus the drama, because, of course, for you and for both of us, what you bring up, and if you bring it up at this point right now in the film, was your sister, Tamara, who had died on some previous, mission that I undertaken. And
right.
And
I love that, just the history immediately in that scene.
Yeah.
That brings us, like, there's like this massive history.
Oh yeah.
To where we were kids. It's like that. I think that really pulls the audience in to where like, whoa, now I really want to go. Like all the comments from my friends are like, okay, where's the sequel?
Yeah, yeah, because they're drawn into the drama, to the fact that these people, it's not like we're just talking. It's not just the plot of a film. We actually have, even in a 4-minute of a short film, the heart, and the heart of it is the relationship and and the emotions attached to that.
Right, and so both Donn and I are sometimes mostly working actors. So, but it's one of those things like today I just went for an audition. I spent 2.5 hours driving in the rain, and I'm not auditioning for Star Wars. Yes, I'm very grateful to have it, and it's like it helps, but you almost have to like take this matter into your own hands. I always keep thinking about Matt Damon and Ben Affleck when they did Good Will Hunting.
Oh, yeah.
They had other movies, but they were not getting the role they wanted.
Right, so you created it.
Yeah, so you're paving the way. And so Donn came up with the script, and then he's like, hey, you want to do this? I'm like, definitely. Because I always kept saying, I haven't done my Star Wars yet, so here's my Star Wars.
Yes, our Star Wars film, exactly. And it's great that you also share that passion for the whole Star Wars films and the culture of it, and paying that respect to it. At the same time, expanding it and actually creating something sort of new. And so I just knew that we were on the same page and that we were kind of thinking the same way. So yeah, and I had a great time doing this with you as well. I think it's the first time us acting together, too.
Yeah, and it's on Wedding. I actually directed Donn, who had a pretty short role in the whole film, but I was like, man, this guy's amazing actor. Like literally in my circle of hundreds of friends, he's like cream of the crop. That's why I'm like,
thank you, brother.
Whatever he does.
I appreciate it.
So I love working with you. Yeah. So it's like whatever you throw at him, go check out his demo reel. Whatever character he's in, it's like a full spectrum. He kills it. So yeah, so it's amazing to work with actors like that.
Oh, and in other news, I've also hired a new to be my new promotion agent. Because but thanks, man. No, I'm so happy with how this came out. I mean, all of the films that we've done, and this was our second one, and the time that we put in the effort was worth it, as far as I think how it came out.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And definitely a shout out to all the people who helped out on
Yes, for sure. Matt, Cynthia.
Yeah.
And whoever else helped. Yeah, I mean, the people who did the special effects. Aaron Kusterer, who did the awesome composition or the orchestral score. And just, amazing.
Yeah, the ending score, I basically gave him the asteroid field. I go, I wanted to sound like this. You know, I didn't want the kind of like the happy ending that the Star Wars films have. I was like, I wanted to have that drama to where, okay, what's gonna happen
Yeah,
next?
suspenseful. Like, right. It like exactly. So that you wonder what's going to happen next. What's the next episode going to bring? The next part of the story, the sort of open-ended, unresolved. Yeah. And that's what that shows his mastery, because you can just say, hey, this is what I want it to sound like. And he created something just like that. So yeah, amazing work.
Yeah, and definitely the special effects guys. I think John Hoagland built the ships, and his friend, who I never got in touch with, he did all the skins for it, and Kevin Wang did the podium and like the ships and all that stuff taken off. Yeah, it was such a fun project. So hopefully, like this opens up the doors. We're like trying to send it to. You sent it to Lucasfilm or something? Who did you send it to?
Well, the thing about Lucasfilm, I mean, there's George, and then there's the whole Kathleen Kennedy,
Corporate.
right? That
Right.
part, and of course, as we know, and everyone, I think, anyone who's done a really well done, or even any kind of Star Wars fan film, some can tell you that that they're very cautious with their in terms of safeguarding their property, what they rightfully it's their property, and so that's why even with this we make sure that it's a fan film, but. So their response was as expected. They themselves can't do anything to promoting anybody's fan film, basically, as but as like you said, other people have seen it. It's out there, and I think other people will continue to see it. And who knows?
Rian Johnson, he got the green light for 3 more films. Unfortunately, because of Han Solo's performance, they killed the budget on the spin-off films.
Right, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi film, right? Kind of got
Boba Fett and all that. So, which is a shame, because actually Han Solo is it's like my second favorite film now of all time. Like it beats like Star Wars, because that's always been my favorite character.
True, he's always mine too. Yeah, and I enjoyed the film too. I think I have to see it again, because I've only seen it once. So that I will definitely see again, as opposed to the what was it? Something Jedi, the Last Jedi. Yeah. So yeah. Wow. And I genuinely, I wasn't even acting there. I almost couldn't remember what it was called. But yeah, I've seen that once. But I would see Solo again. Yeah. That's for another talk as to why I may not. I mean, maybe I will. You know what? For a discussion about it, I would see Last Jedi again, just so I could specifically refresh my mind about what I would say about it.
Yeah,
but
I did that. I got even more angry.
Yeah. That's probably going to happen with me too. But yeah, no, Solo. So I liked as well, and I mean, The Mandalorian. I'm excited to see. That's the first, of course, Star Wars live action television show, especially with all the cartoons they've had. It's kind of cool to have a live action thing. It'd be good to see.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, they've been shooting for the last like 3 or 4 months, on and off, like in Manhattan Beach and Hermosa Beach and areas like that. At least they were. But yeah. So that I don't know when it's going to be coming out. Maybe this fall. I would imagine. So yeah, look out for that.
Oh, nice. Wow. Okay, yeah, because like the other ones, we were shooting over in Pinewood Studios in London.
Yes.
So I think both Donn and I were trying to we'll fly out there.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me?
I was like, I'll even be an extra.
Oh yeah, I mean, just to be on a Star Wars set, I mean, it has to be magical, totally amazing. When I actually shot the film Open Window with Robin Tunney and Joel Edgerton, he just come back from Australia shooting that last scene in Revenge of the Sith, where he's playing Uncle Owen, basically the young Uncle Owen, and he just had a phenomenal time shooting that. And of course he's playing an actual, even though he wasn't speaking. It's obviously, we all know he's a pivotal character, at least as far as Luke's initial origins and Star Wars and all that.
Right, it's a plot changing character.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, no, I you kidding? It would be great to if to get a chance to experience that. But in lieu of that, it was also it's great as to live in that world that we've created that. As far as the film, and speaking of fan films, and I just like to do this just because hey, I mean, it's not about competition or anything. There's one fan film that actually really inspired me, where I would like to aspire to do what they were doing as well, which is taking and it's called Shards of the Past. They really captured the essence of the original trilogy. In a lot of ways too, the way we were intending it and wanting to do that, and I think successful at doing that. That's definitely worth checking out, because I know with me that inspired me, like, oh yeah, to want to do another one or continue this story.
He actually raised funding, and he got like permission to raise funding from Lucasfilm. I'm not sure it was Shards of the Past, or it's a Darth Vader story. It just came out.
Okay, it might be that one, because I know that that's the one that I heard from a friend of mine, another Star Wars fan, who was like, it's got like 3 million, it had like 3 million views in like a small amount of time. And having seen it, and if you haven't seen it, I will say when you see it, you'll see why. It's one of the best Star Wars fan fiction films I've ever seen, actually, on a lot. And I'm not just talking about, I mean, the way it looks, their dialogue, the people that they found, the actors actually really they put a lot of time and energy and did what Rogue One did. They actually took like this would take place, I think, right after Revenge of the Sith. It even says like several months after. So they're taking the storyline and saying, well, this is what would have been happening. This is what most likely would have been what Anakin was going through only several months after losing Padme. It's really incredible.
Okay, so this is kind of a prelude to, we're going to do an actual interview between Donn and I. That'll be in depth, and it'll cover everything.
All things Star Wars, baby.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
Actually, all things acting and filmmaking. So
yeah.
So totally. It'll include everything on there. So so we'll keep this one pretty short. 20-minute commentary for a 4-minute film. It's like my friends feel. They're like, here's the Matrix and 72 hours of behind the scenes footage due back in 48 hours.
Yeah, that's for the really diehard fans. If you must know absolutely everything.
And if you have any questions, you can post them in the comment below. We'll answer them to the best of our abilities. And I think.
Well, hey man, thanks for wanting to do this and asking me to do it. It was a lot of fun. Looking forward to the next.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. All right. Take care.
All right, you too, bro.